Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Becki Gray and Rufus Edmisten. Recently, the North Carolina Museum of History Associates canceled a casino night fundraising event after Republicans criticized Governor Cooper for violating a law he refused to change. Now, in 2017, the legislature had passed a law to allow nonprofits occasionally to hold casino nights to raise money. Governor Cooper vetoed the bill, and lawmakers didn't have enough votes to override that particular veto. Should these casino nights be allowed, Rufus?
Absolutely. A little fun on a casino night, no money changes hands. I remember there was legislation when I was Attorney General. It's just seems sort of silly that grown people can't have some fun. And I think Governor Cooper, his days as Attorney General, influenced him because you were always after the video poker people, and you think the casino night's sort of associated with that. But I find nothing except a bunch of fun to help charities raise money for worthy causes.
Becki, I want your opinion on it because I know you're on the North Carolina Museum of Art board, but a lot of the pushback on this particular issue is the fact that they were talking about doing it on state property. Does that make any difference?
I don't think it makes any difference at all. I mean, and there is a bill that has been filed this year that would allow this to happen. I mean, as you mentioned, it didn't go through last year because of the governor's veto. There's a group that has proposed it again this year. And as Rufus said, I mean, there's a lot of restrictions with this. It would be 501c3s. I think some trade associations would be included in that. You have to get a special permit so people know that it's happening. You could only do it 4 times a year. And very restricted times and, all this kind of stuff. But Tom, this is the problem that you have and that, in my view, started the day that North Carolina passed the North Carolina lottery. And it's the question of gambling. And if gambling is not a good thing, then we ought to outlaw it entirely in North Carolina. If it is okay, and it apparently is because the state is in the gambling business, then we ought to open it up and let others gamble as well.
Does that
now,
mean
this
opening,
is very,
does that mean opening it all the way to pari-mutuel betting?
Well, I mean, I would. I mean, why? It's either okay or it's not. The state now has a monopoly, but that's one of the problems that they've had through this, whether it's video poker, whether it's some of those other things. You put too many restrictions on it, and all of a sudden the North Carolina lottery is illegal.
And you talked about the video sweepstakes parlors, which, again, either it's legal or it's not legal.
Well, for years, the video poker people have offered the state of North Carolina to hook up their systems to have
a revenue stream.
Have a revenue stream, complete transparency. And it's like, here's the state wholeheartedly in the worst kind of gambling ever known to mankind, the lottery, and yet a person can't go in there and have a little fun on the weekend. It's just absurd to me. And it goes along with the free enterprise system of the state of North Carolina controlling something that people want to do that is just overrated. In my opinion, the casino nights are overly regulated the way it is. Too much regulation on them. You got to cross every T, dot every I. I think you ought to have, if you ought to have one, as long as you account for the money and don't use money, you ought to be able to do it anytime you want to under any circumstances.
Hear it. We're going down a slippery slope.
Oh, I hear it right now.
We are down the slippery slope when we started the
state-run
lottery.
Used to say.
That slippery slope has done sloped when you enacted the North Carolina lottery.
Okay, well, we'll just see where this goes. From here, we get into alcohol control, and that's another issue for another day.
But this casino night thing, I mean, understand, I mean, the bill that is on the table today has all kinds of restrictions in it. You have to have permits, and these permits cost money, so there's a revenue stream. It has provisions for law enforcement. I looked through the bill this morning, and I mean, it seemed very tight to me. And, to Rufus's point, I agree with you. It's silly to prohibit some of these good causes, the Museum of History. I'm on the board at the Museum of Art. Now, we do a lottery for a Porsche, so that's a drawing for a Porsche, I should add. But, to allow these 501c3s,
because I need a new Porsche.
You should see that car. Anyway, to allow these, and these are for 501c3 and charitable groups.
While I'm going out to buy my ticket, I want to thank you for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.